I aku nui, aku rahi, aku karanga maha o te motu. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, ōtira tēnā tātou katoa. Me mihi kau atu au ki tō tātou nei tini mate o te wā. Oki oki e koutou e moi, e moi, e moi. Kia tātou te hungora tātou e tau nei, nei rā te mihi kia tātou kua ta tū mai nei ki tēnā o tō tātou nei whare kōrero a mō tēnei pō. Nō reira, areare mai o koutou taringa, me o koutou nei ngakau ki tēnei o tō tātou nei hōtaka. Kia ora everyone and welcome to Thankful Thursday for today. And it's our last Thankful Thursday for the year until the new year. We're going to have a couple of weeks break, but it's an awesome day today because the mana wāhine that we were going to have last week has agreed to come on to our last show today and to share her aroha and her insight in some of the awesome mahi that she's doing, not only for her iwi and hapu, but for her whānau, and also around her journey and her healing during a time of so much sadness in her life. And in saying that, I've had the privilege and honour to have studied with this mana wāhine, worked beside her in many arenas, and she has definitely stepped up the scale in everything that she does, not only for herself, but for her whole whānau. So whānau, are mai o taringa, tune your ears into this beautiful wāhine tonight as she shares her aroha for her people and for her whānau. Tēnā koe Maria, ngā mihi o te wā kia koe te tuahine.
Tēnā koe e iwi me ngā hononga kei wainganui a tāua mai te wā I tūtaki tuatahi ai tāua I te waiariki. Ia tāua e whai ana I ngā mahi a te kai pūrongo a te kai ripuata. Koutou katoa ko whakapuri mai ki tēnei o ngā papahotanga I tēnei ki pō. Nei au e tūohu ana. Ka tai ko te tino intro ko tērā. That was a real thing. That was a thing. I was just like, oh, geez. It's like, wow, I don't know about all
you
that
deserve
stuff.
that and much more, honestly. Well, some people may have seen you in your earlier days with Wakahuia, being a broadcaster, a journalist for Wakahuia and Te Karere back in the rā, but also some of your stories that you've written and published over the many years that reflected not only your aroha to our people, but your manaki to our people as well. But before we get started into that korero, tēnā kowai koe e no whē koe.
Purekireki te marae, pirongi a te maunga, te awa o waipa, te iwi apakura. Nei rā he moko puna, o te iwi tau e he, e rere ana ngā mihi ki ngongu manga whakahi. Tā huri tā kuaro, kia kahurana ki, hoki mai ki whakapunake, kia hikurangi. Tēnā koutou, koera he paku wahanga oku, wheraka I a tātou katoa, he waiwai kiko, he ringaringa kei roto I tērā iwi, he ringaringa ki roto I tērā iwi, engari I tipu ake au I te riu waikato, ko ngaku tikanga, taku reo, no te iwi o apakura, ko apakura te iwi e noho ana ki raro I te maunga o pirongi a te aroaro o kahu, na ko tōku marae ko pūrekireki, engari ko tōku ingoa, ko Maria te aukaha Huata, ko te hunga Huata rā no te Wairua, here ko Ngāti Kahungunu ki te Wairua, hoki mai ki a here taunga, ko tōku taha tomoana tērā. And the greatest misconception about us as te aitanga te rita, the descendants of te rita, my mother, is that we are blood from Waikato. However, we were born and bred in Waikato. Our kuia, my mother's mother, was whāngai into Waikato, into Ngāti Maniapoto, Waipuna, Hauturu, Kinohaku, Kāwhia moana, Kāwhia kai, Kāwhia tangata, I tipu ake rātou ko tōku whānau, ngōku ruruhi, koroheke, vaia keke, matua keke, I pirongi a kata I ka hunuku mai ki kirikiriroa. However, my kuia, her name was Harata Tāwhi. She married my korauwa, Eric Papish. Those are my mother's parents. Harata went to Turakina Māori Girls College, as did I and my twin sister. And here's a cool story for you. This is how whakapapa rolls. When my kuia went to Turakina, she was actually adopted legally by a Māori couple from Waikato. She was in a hospital, and they went to this hospital, and they were like, we want that Māori child, and they adopted her as a little baby. However, when my kuia was at Turakina, she had this one remaining photo of her birth mother that was left with her as a baby. And, ka whakawhanaungatanga, ka whakahoahoa haere ki ngā nohoa I te kura. And they asked where she was from, and she told them, and she go, I'm adopted, but I had this photo of my birth mother. And as it happened, this photo that she showed her friends turned out to be her first cousins. They were like, that's our nanny ka. That's our nanny ka. And these kōtiro at that time, now kuia and some have passed away, were from Ngāti Porou. And so, and this is my connection back into you from Te Aroa and back to you, Iwi, is that our kuia, my mother's mother, her real parents were Katerina Ture, who was the oldest daughter of Hone Te Ihi Ngata from Ngāti Porou, and Hone Te Ihi Ngata was the tuakana to Apirana. Koia. And Katerina Ture had a liaison with one of your own, Tautuhi Mitchell, from Whakauwe or Hinemutu. And so our bloodlines actually flow through our mother through the whenua of ōhine mutu, ngā waikoro pupu o te rotorua nui a kahumata momoi, and te whānau karuwai ki te pūtaku te maunga o Hukurangi. So that was a bit of a long story and about whakapapa, but whakapapa is how we connect, right? It's all about interconnectedness. So yeah, you know, we're both journalists, we can just talk forever. But
Yeah, that's right. No, tikato. And when we first found out that information around our whakapapa linkage, it was like, oh my gosh, yeah. And because my mum is a tāwhi as well, and her father was Koro Tom, and he married Hinewai Ivy Waiapu from Te Whakatohia. But his mother was a Simeon from Ngāti Te Tākina, and of course his father Mosey Tāwhi was from Ngāti Whakaue and also down Te Raukawa ki Otaki. So that's sort of how our connections sort of ended up coming to play. But then, of course, of our Ngāti Whakaue linkage, because my koro's mum was actually whāngai into the Wycliffe whānau and also into our ōhine motu, our Ngāti Whakaue bloodline. So, yep, koina tō maua hononga.
beautiful.
So it's so lovely to reconnect, not only in person, but as part of whakapapa, because that's what continues to bring us together and stuff. So you've done a lot of things in your lifespan, and you've got a beautiful whānau. But I want to ask you this question: how has your whānau been during this time of COVID?
Oh, we're very lucky that our mother has given us and taught us lots of skills that enables us to transgress any transgressions. So we've been well. Being a journalist, I can still work from home. So for me and my whānau, we're very lucky that I haven't been affected in that way. I live right next door to the house that my twin sister bought last year, and my mother now lives in there with my nephew, my twin's elder sister. So eldest son, sorry. So we've, you know, haven't had to be like separated from whānau. They're just over the fence. I can literally see my mother if I want to from my kitchen window to her kitchen window. So we've been well, thank you. Our whānau has been well. There's always silver linings. There's always silver linings to everything, and it's just the world that we live in today. And as long as we are true to our own whakapono, uara, tumanako, then koera ngā āhuatanga ka ārahi a tātou kia puta ki te ora.
Ai, tikatai. And you're so right. You know, it's such a blessing to know that we've got whānau that are close by, and we learned from the. For me, I've learned so much around not only from the COVID situation, but also around just how tight of a whānau you need to get through just your daily schedules and stuff. But in saying that, whānau, you may have heard some chitter chatter behind me. Yes, I'm in a public space, but in saying that, I am safe, I am well, I'm in my bubble. But in saying that, if COVID has said anything or done anything for me personally, is that it made me appreciate the things that we already have and that we can already do. And in saying that, Maria, what is how has it been in regards to not only your mahi you've spoken about as a journalist, your mahi and stuff, but what about your mahi that you've been doing in regards to the iwi and the hapu during this time frame as well? So have you been doing liaising with any of the iwi or hapu matters that are happening at the moment?
Okay, so kia ora, mo tērā pātai. Just a correction. Yes, I worked at Wakahui, and I'm lucky. 6 weeks into our journalism course at Waiariki, I got a job at Wakahui, but I've never been a Te Karere presenter. So thought I'd better correct that. Currently, my current job is as a regional news reporter for Okaha News, Tainui Live Radio, and it's a relationship between 3 iwi radio stations, Te Aroa FM, Moana FM, led by Kerama Wright, who is our kai hautu o te kaupapa. But you know, I'm privileged to be around all these people that do magnificent, meaningful, authentic, genuine things for our iwi on the ground. So you think, gosh, where is my place in this world? How can I help? And what are my skills, you know, rather than trying to replicate or think you're not doing enough. You know, I need to get out there and pack some food boxes and deliver them. Well, Those are some people's jobs, not all of our jobs. So it's finding your niche. So my niche has been able to, as a reporter for Ōkaha News, is to bring on those people that are on the ground that are doing the mahi. So rather than focus on how many COVID cases have happened or where is what's happening and all that stuff, my thing has been to focus on those services that are delivering to our people in the community. So definitely I'm in touch with H-Town, Hamilton, Kirikiriroa. I'm moving away from Hamilton because he wasn't a cool dude. So I got to call it Kirikiriroa, Te Kopumani o Kirikiriroa, H-Town all day. So I'm really aware of the services that support our people, not only with kai, not only with water, but also with their mental states and just having someone to talk to relieve them of some stress. So it's being able to share that stuff across our platforms, our news networks, and let them know where things are at. But one of the other mahi that I do that hasn't stopped because we've all, like all of us, have moved to Zoom, so we can still hui via Zoom. I'm very active in my marae o pūriki. I consider myself he ahi ka, even though I live in Hamilton or H-Town and it's in Purungia, alongside with my papa, my pakeke kaumātua Tom Roa. Both of us sit on the Tainui, Waikato Tainui governance, which is called Te Whakakitenga o Waikato. It used to be called Te Kauwhanganui, but that name was returned to Ngāti Haua, and my first term as a governor for Waikato Tainui was, we do 3 years, and I've been voted on again. So we've still been able to hui online, ensure that, and ours is about getting the message out there, making sure people know what's going down, because very often people don't know what's going down. They don't know where to go to. They don't know who to talk to. They're shy, they're whakamā, or they just don't have the access. And so we shouldn't take things for granted, like got internet access. Well, not everybody's got internet access. And we talk about connectivity. It's not just about connectedness between one person and another person. It's like, well, do I have a phone? Can I actually show my vaccine pass? Do I need to print it out for me? Am I even watching TV? So it's ensuring that we're covering off all bases and not assuming that everybody's connected online. So in terms of iwi stuff, because I got 7 kids, they keep me connected as well. So I'm, connected with the kura, connected with the whare kura, connected with the kohanga reo, and just trying to be a mama and doing what I can do with what I have in the space that I am.
Oh, tikato. One of the best things that I've seen on some of your lives is that not only your mahi for the iwi and the hapu, but the stuff that you've been doing with your whānau, and these little waiata sessions, co-host sessions that you've been having during the lockdown period and stuff. What amazing mokopuna and tamariki you had to just be in sync with Te Ao Māori. Was that the original plan for you and your whānau, is to live a life built on the foundation of being Māori?
Oh, no mai rā, no tērā ki ngōku nei whakaro, he tā heke roa. Mena he Māori koe, me he toto Māori ngāu, kei reira, kei roto i a koe. A tōna wā, ka puta mai, ka tō mai. I ngērā āhuatanga kia puta ki te ao mārama ki te ao tūroa nei. Nā reira, ka hoki ki tērā whakatau aki, e kore au e ngaro he kākano I ruia mai I rangi atea. Tātou katoa te iwi Māori, koia. So whether you've been brought up with it, whether you've been exposed to it or not, or you've come to it later on in life, or you've had it from birth, if you have Māori blood, you have Māori whakapapa, you are a seed that was planted and was grown and sown mai rāno in Hawaii. So until it is your time, until you're ready, or whenever that is, kei reira. So when you ask that question, all I can say is yes, because he Māori ahau. No ku tēnei whenua, no ku tūpuna taiwira. So, because my mother is a baby boomer and she's of that era where, the urban rural shift, they didn't get reo, so there was no such thing as, it was all, have a Pākehā name, get a Pākehā education, because that's what that's going to be the best thing for you. That's the direct impacts of colonization and the whole movement from the 1800s right to the 1950s. Then the 1970s, you see the resurgence of the resistance and the resilience with ngā tamatoa, the land march in 1975 with Whenua. You've got the Bastion Point in 1978. You've got Eva Ricard with the Raglan Golf Course. All these key events, I para te huarahi mai rāno, the land march, the reo, the petition for the reo. And it wasn't until 1987 that Te Ao Māori became an official language of this country. And that's a living memory. I was 10. So that's crazy, right? So my mother didn't learn to speak Te Ao Māori until she was 27, and my twin sister and I were in her puku. She made a conscious decision to go back to Te Whare Wānanga o Waikato to learn her reo. So it's a funny story because she was learning, she was studying music because she was going to be an opera singer, like Dame Kiri Te Kanawa, actuals, if people know Mum in that era. But our father left. She was there for 5 young children, and to be an opera singer at that level is a real solid. It's a singular pursuit. You can't have tamariki and do that. You look at Kiri Te Kanawa, she doesn't have any children. She's got one son who's adopted later on in life. So you choose, right? So Mum chose her kids. She chose her babies. She moved from Auckland, from her music degree, went down to Hamilton, Waikato University. She knew Timoti Karetu, who was a really good friend of my kuia, Harata, when they were at both at Hato Petara College back in the day. So she's known Timoti since she was a young girl and me from birth. Anyway, she goes to uni. She goes to see Timoti. She knocks on the door. True story. And ka hoki mai te reo a Timoti. Mena hea tāhua koe kuhu mai. My mother had no idea what he was saying. But she opened the door and she walked in and ka whakokia e whakautua e Timoti. Oh, he tika, ko koe Bernadette. I taua wā ko taku māma ko Bernadette. Nā Timoti tāna ingoa Māori a te rita I tapa. Ko te rita, ko te ārita rita, bubbly and effervescent, and koina te āhuatanga o tōku māma. So that was the beginning of my mother's conscious decision to ensure that all her uri, their first language will be Te Reo Māori, other than us first 5, because there was no kohanga reo, there was no kura kaupapa, no wharekura. It wasn't until my baby sister, at the time when we were 9, and when she came around, that my mother said to us, okay, we are not going to speak English in this whare anymore. Straight up, we weren't allowed to speak English. So it was just like, oh, kai, oh, wharepaku, moi, ko tai te kupu, ne? Ko tai te kupu, ka tai ka rua, ka tai ka toru, ka tai ka rere ngā kōrero. And so from that point, and it's my baby sister, te ingo karangaro, te rehiangaia, that all of Mum's mokopuna now, that's their first language. And so, yes.
Beautiful. That is so beautiful. And it's a testament to not only to your mum, but to education as a whole. We've come a long way with Te Reo Māori, and it's because of whānau like yourselves that have taken it, and your mama saying we're not going to be speaking Pākehā in our whare. That just means that it was going to be growing and growing. Our Te Reo Māori was going to be continuously growing. And he mihi tēnā ki tō mama and her PhD and stuff that she's currently done over the years. And what amazing, your mama coming from the story that you just finished telling us about, to getting her PhD, and still your whole whānau being really educated, well educated throughout their whole lifespan, basically. And was that a moia of your mum to see not only herself excel in education, but her kids and her mokopuna?
Like I said, it was a seed that was planted mai rāno, ions ago. It was in that, we come from, and hara tēnei te kōrero whakahihi, engari, we come from rangatira whakapapa. There was no way that we were going to do anything else. So, I mean, I do take, it wasn't until I got older that, for me, the University of Waikato was our playground straight up. We went to the creche across the road. Like I said, we were in my mother's puku when she started her degree, so it was just a natural thing for us. But it wasn't until later on in life that we realised how privileged we were, and the bubble that my mother had created for us, and that wasn't the normal thing. That was the norm for us. So I acknowledge that, but also it was a norm for us to work hard. To not have excuses, to not think, oh, I've got 5 kids, I'm just going to stay on the DPB, not taking away from anything, and then just, that's all I'm going to do. No, my mother, bringing us up when she was a solo mother, she sang in a band in the evenings as she went to uni during the day to make sure that we were taking care of and that she could advance. And that's something that's been instilled in us, I've taken all my babies to work. I've always worked, I've always studied, and it's just kind of, that's what mum's instilled in us, but it's instilled in her. So, and I also want to do a shout out to my brother, because for people that may be watching and think, oh look, she comes from a family that was just a natural thing for them, but we come from this. Well, we lived in Tarapa in H-Town, Kirikiriroa, and if you know Tarapa, it's like Ford Block. It's like Cannons Creek and Pōneke or the Nui, It was like that. So all around us was poverty. We lived in a state house, So we didn't get to go back to our marae because my mother couldn't afford, gas to get us there. It wasn't until we got older, we'd go back for tangi and that, but it wasn't a regular thing. We were urban Māori and still are. So we didn't get things like learn how to fish or hunt or dive or all those kinds of things. We grew up in a city, in a concrete jungle. So that's why we had the opportunity to do that stuff. And yeah, all of us have graduated. All 7 of us have degrees. We don't come from a gang family, but when my father left, where we lived was Mongol mob fully. And so, and I say this with all the love, and my brother be like, hey, but I'm sure because I think he's an inspiration for people. My brother, his role models and the people that were there for him when my father left, and I love my dad, was the ariki now of the Mongol mob here in Waikato, Paito, Sani Fatu Paito. So I give it up and I take my hat off to them because they were there for my brother. But as a result, my brother is a fully patched Mongol mob member with a degree. So you can't say, oh, because of this, I can't do this, or because of that, I can't do that. No way. Excuses are for chumps.
That's right. And what an inspiration that your brother has made for anybody to excel in education, no matter what race, what religion, or which whānau they are mixing and mingling with. At the end of the day, it's that whānau connectivity that continues to strive for success in our Māori life. Before we finish off from that whānau aspect of our korero, and before our half an hour is nearly up, but I just wanted to have a quick korero to you about the time for your twin sister and her passing, and during this time of you reflecting on that and sharing quite publicly on your feeds around dealing with the grief. And because I asked this because you have been such an inspiration for my journey as I currently go through my rongoa journey at the moment. But there's a whole heap of other people that I know that you have touched and supported because they're going through the same mamai even today with their loss, for the love of their lost one. But this is in particular of your twin sister that passed away earlier. And so haere taku aroha ki a koe, my love continues to flow to you and your whānau during this time. And because it's still raw in the heart and in the mind of so many. But I just want to get your take on it, how you're doing in regards to it, and what has been the rongoa for you and your whānau during this time of sadness and grief.
Oh, Iwi, I must say, thank you for the intro. When I was watching it, I te tangio, the us doing the iwi anthems and singing E Noho Tūheitia. And I remember that day really, really well because Pania is wearing grey tracksuit pants.
I know when I saw it, I was going, oh, I've got to play this. And this was even before you got your moko kauai and stuff done there. So I was like going, oh, this is even more beautiful because, and the significance, sorry about that, the motorbike going past, but the significance around tēnei taonga and your sister at the same time. So yeah, I think it's quite timely, and that's why I thought, to close off this project of being Thankful Thursday, because that's why I started Thankful Thursday, was to acknowledge the mahi and acknowledge whānau and the raw decisions and the rawness of the things that people go through. And it's meaningful in the sense that, you know, you don't know who else out there that is listening and watching this that are going through the same thing as you and I. And, you know, and what sort of impact of that would make on the lives of so many people. So yeah, I'm not being nosy, but I'm just wanted to say, you know, you inspired so many people with your heartfelt korero, and when you spoke to your brother about going back to the urupa and crying and stuff like that, you know, just those sort of aspects sort of just build character in people. And so, yeah, is there a bit of a korero that you can share with us on how does how have you dealt with grief, and how what has been the rongoa of comfort for you?
Oh, Iwi, 8 more days and we unveil her. And I understand now when a year goes, it goes really fast and people aren't ready to do that. My thing is that if Pan could live, she'd live. And I'm still breathing. I'm still talking. I have all my faculties. I can see. I can hear. I can talk. I can walk. I have all my limbs, all my organs. I have nothing to complain about. And so it is my responsibility as a human being to live. Actuals. Live. Because there's some of us that can't. Iwi, you'll be experiencing it now, and you're going to experience it in our katangi more. Now, try not to tangi. So how I deal with it is what you might see on my lives and stuff is that I still have the gift of life, and I'm not about to waste it. No way, no way. I'm gonna live my life because my twin would want to be still living. So that's number one. I'm lucky that my second name is Te Aukaha, the strong one. And that's for a purpose. 20 years, I think my twin sister prepared me for the day. We lost her at 6:30 in the morning on New Year's Eve, and what a way to go. We'll always celebrate her because she was diagnosed when we were 23, and this is why I left Wakahuia, with lymphoblastic leukemia, acute. So I understand we went through all of that stuff. And then so for 20 years, my sister fought to live because she loved everyone. She loved her family. She loved life. And so anyone that's struggling out there, just think about it. What can I still do? I'm here for a purpose. What can I contribute? You know, that's how I get through it. It's not easy, but I'm blessed. You know, this I have good whānau support. I write. As you can tell, I write, I speak, I compose, I share, and I have my tongues that way. And it's still I've got books of poetry and like when my mantra is when I go 5 walks in the morning, it goes like this. It goes and I just have it on constant flow. I'm like Poo Horo PhD, Puka Puka poetry, travel overseas, and a little DJ. So manifesting the things that I want. We're 44, Pania and I. And so it's never too late to manifest your dreams and do that. And so and day by day, step by step, grief makes you beautiful. It does. Because it gives you more insight, more empathy, more understanding, more appreciation. So instead of pushing it away, embrace it. And I just
Yeah,
weave that quote. So and I know we're gonna go soon. And I just want to share something that I wrote for Pania when she was in her real tough times. So I just want to leave you guys with this. Okay. Do you see that luminescent light? That light you can barely see? That light you've forgotten, perhaps even discarded? That dazzling, graceful, magnificent light that is a constant reminder of who you are and what you could be. Let not that light be dampened by devious fears that seek to undo you. Let not that light be burdened with unrelenting, tiresome tribulations that seek to unravel you. Let not that light be riddled with endless woes and eroding hopes. Although it morphs and sways and at times barely flickers, leave you almost empty of purpose. Remember you are of the earth and the sky. Remember you are the mountains and seas. Remember you are of the mists and rivers. Remember you are the giver of life and good. Remember you are daughter, sister, auntie, teacher, mother. Remember you are grandmother, wife. Remember.
Tēnā koe te tuahine. Tika tau, kōrero mō tēnā kaupapa. And what a beautiful way to end off our session tonight. And thank you so much for just sharing your truth and sharing your aroha to the meninga over this festive season as we remember those that are no longer with us, but we still remember and be thankful for the people that are here with us today. And meri krihi me te kia koe te tuahine, me te manaakitanga o te tauhou Pākehā ki a koutou me tō whānau hoki. A huge mihi to you, and especially your whānau for allowing you to be a part of tonight's show. I know that, taking people out of their busy schedules and whānau time is a real blessing for me because I understand because people say to me all the time, oh, you spend so much time with other people, you don't spend it with me and stuff like that. So I totally understand the whakaaro behind it. But I runga I tēnā e te tuahine, thank you very much for sharing your kōrero tonight. You have inspired not only myself, but many people that are going through the same thing around access, going through their education journey or their goal sets, going through a time of grief and finding counsel in the words that you just shared in regards to the poetry that you have just shared with us tonight. And so a huge mihi to you, your whānau, and to everyone watching tonight. He mihi tēnā kia koutou katoa. And Thankful Thursday will be back again in the new year as we get more guests and more kōrero to share with the motu. I runga e tēnā e te tuahine. Thank you so much. Love you so much and continue to be the blessing in everything that you do, not only for your whānau, but for the hapuri and for the people of our nation, our Māori people, and everyone else in our genealogy. So, I runga tēnā, koutou mā pomare o tēnā kākite koutou, I runga te humare me te rangi Māori i tēnei wā. Ka kite anō tātou.
Pomare,